Hello, I'm Jenna Lynn Roberts with Present Path Tarot. I offer down-to-earth, insightful, humorous, compassionate, glorious readings that help you navigate to your best life. So today we're going to talk about relationship cards. Not just the standards, although we'll touch on those. We're going to talk about what cards just continually come up when readings are happening around relationships to help you get a little more insight on, what to look for when you're doing your own readings, as well as how to understand how to navigate relationships when you're getting a reading from someone else. So today, if you're in a relationship, if you're looking for a relationship, if you're confused and befuddled by relationships, today is going to help you to get some insights as to how to pull cards for yourself and understand them. And even if you don't pull cards for you, I think the concepts here, the archetypes here, can help you consider fields that you can work on improving in your approach to relationships. We're going to talk about the standards as well as ones you wouldn't expect. So come along with me for this fun little ride. I got inspired to do this because I did a little Instagram live with Heidi B. Coaching, who is a dating coach on Instagram, really fun person, and I had a great time sharing with her friends and community about this and had so much more to say. So let's get into it. We're going to start with some of the standards. So we have the Ace of Cups and the Two of Cups. Start with a heart, right? So the Ace of Cups is when you have that heart fullness and you're just falling in love. And you're like in that tender place. Now you can have Ace of Cups for anything, and of course any of the cards can also relate to love, but this is about love in the traditional sense. The most common relationship cards that come up are the Two of Cups and the Lover's card. Now the Two of Cups is much more about that sort of warm friendship glow, that heart-to-heart connection, while the Lover's card can be very much about a karmic experience. It's about like, wow, you've got a blowout of your insights that can happen from this relationship. Now, one of my Lover's relationships, we never even got it on, but boy, did that person have an impact on my heart, on my concept of who I was, of how much I allowed myself to be whole in myself, because that is what the Lover's card is about. So the Lover's card has, you might have past life stuff together, you have that sort of twin flame feeling in the beginning, but I personally believe that, the flash of power in the beginning can sometimes be a little overwhelming for the long term. So personally, I feel more comfortable when I get that nice Two of Cups of a sort of gentle, warm glow connection building over time. Now, those are the cards that are like standard, you're in love, this is happening cards. But let's talk about the more unusual cards that come up a lot in these readings. Six of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles is about the give and the take in a relationship. And I get a lot of times this card reversed when one partner is giving so much that the other partner doesn't feel like they have any room to really reciprocate. And then we come into an imbalanced place where there's not a healthy flow of give and take. So you consider yourself a giver, but are you able to receive as well? Because it is a form of generosity to be a good receiver. So I want you to really sit with allowing space for the person you're with to come to you and to give you what gifts and love languages they have to give. This is also a love languages card of what on a physical, practical, resourceful level do you need as a representation of your love being respected and that you want to give that kind of love, and what kind of love do you need to receive. It doesn't always have to be the same thing. So Six of Pentacles comes up a lot. Another six that sadly comes up a lot is the Six of Swords, because the Six of Swords is about leaving. It's about being done. And in this image, we have a person leaving a situation, taking with them these swords of new lessons, awareness, intelligence, learning, growth. So, you're not, sometimes people say, oh, the relationship didn't work out. What a waste of time. What are you saying? You gained so much lesson from that, even if it was a mess. So give yourself some credit that you left the relationship with insight and get the heck out if it's not healthy. Now, another card about leaving the relationship is the Eight of Cups. This one to me doesn't come up as often as the Six of Swords, which is more of a divorce card. The Eight of Cups to me is when you know that your heart needs to leave behind a situation, even though it might be resourcefully satisfying or you might have other reasons to stay, but you know in your heart it's time to go. And this is very much more in the Six of Swords. I'm not sure who's leaving who, but in the Eight of Cups, you're leaving them and you're done. And that's just a very private, personal thing. So, that comes up sometimes as well, but I feel like the Six of Swords is a more standard divorce sort of card. Other ones, of course, there's marriage card as well. So the most common typical marriage card is the Four of Wands. Some people consider the Six of Wands because the Six of Wands has to do with a homecoming, and so being at home together and also getting accolades. But traditionally, the Four of Wands is about an event that's being built by a community and a community coming together to witness you in your love. Now, I also ordain weddings. I love ordaining weddings. And it's interesting during COVID times that we have to kind of videotape the events now so that we have a sense of community witnessing this event. And so that's also about how the community reflects on you. Even if it's not about a marriage card, the Four of Wands can also be about, hey, how are other people's influences playing into this? How are you being supported and witnessed by your community in this? Another fun Wands card on just a saucy note is the Ace of Wands, which is essentially a big phallus and has a lot to do with that initial spark that you get when you're first in love or first in passion, more than love, when you're in lust with someone. Now, this is a card, if you get in a relationship, is most likely saying, hey, it's not going to last forever. It's a match. It's going to burn out. Enjoy it while you can, gain the lessons from it, have the great sex, but it's probably going to end. It might last, but, for now, just enjoy what it is. However, if you also get the Sun card with especially that Ace of Wands, but in a new relationship, that's a fertility card in a big way. The Empress card is as well, but the Sun card is saying, hey, there's a baby on this card. You have a new opportunity in this relationship, and that might be what it's about, but make sure you're using contraceptives if that's part of your goal. Unless you're ready to have kids, watch yourself. So another thing that comes up a lot in readings is this idea of putting yourself out there and letting yourself be dating. And that can be a very intimidating part of the process. So the cards that are telling you to do that would be the Three of Pentacles, which is kind of putting yourself out there on a kind of resume level, getting onto the websites and things like that, getting dressed up and going out when it's available to do so. The Hierophant card is more about following a system. So that might be about, hey, you should get a coach who can help you walk you through this process of becoming better at dating. That might be about looking for a more structured way to date. Like maybe the system you're using, maybe you're going on like hiking trips with strangers, and maybe that's not the greatest idea. Maybe instead you should go for tea for 15 minutes, see if it's a connection, and then move on. So figuring out a structure for your dating. And I would say if you get the Hierophant card, get on dating websites, try a different dating website, but get into a system that seems to be supporting the nature of falling in love. Or if you're in a partnership, time to get some counseling. Time to just follow a system and a structure that works for you. That said, I highly recommend Imago style therapy, especially in regards to the Hierophant card, because that's a type of therapy where it's a communication exchange where it's can be frustrating to practice, but one person speaks for 20 minutes and the other person has to reflect back what they're hearing, and the counselor acts as a mediator between you two to make sure that you're communicating the way you should. So you have to say things like, the story I'm telling myself is that you're a jerk. Instead of just saying you're a jerk. So it's an interesting style of therapy, and I highly recommend it. So if you get the Hierophant card and you're in a relationship, really good idea to go find a therapist who can support you. A funny point I wanted to detail for you is how much the Lover's card and the Devil reflect each other. Notice how there are, in both cases, an angel over two people. In both cases, the woman has a tree of life behind her or grapes behind her in the devil card, and the man has the fire of wands behind him. And by the way, Pentacles, which is earth, is yoni, and fire, which is wands, is phallus, and also swords are phallus, and cups are yonis. So, hey, there you go. So noticing how it's almost the same card on so many levels, and yet this is people being attached to their lust, perhaps, can be in a relationship, to their egos in a big way. And notice, though, that the chains are loose on their necks. They can take them off if they want to. So just take a moment to reflect on the idea that the Devil card and the Lover's card are very similar. That is not a mistake. Thank you, Pamela Coleman Smith and A.E. Waite, for that. So other cards that can come up, Emperor and Empress. We like to date our parents on some level. Freud was not wrong. So considering for yourself, if you keep dating your dad, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? My partner is a lot like my father in the ways of being qualities that I do seek in a partner. But he doesn't act like him or look like him. So it's normal and natural to have an overlap of the familiarity of who we're raised with and who we choose to love. My partner has moments of being like my mom too, so there's that. But that's something that can come up as a sort of psychological thing of what you're attracted to is what's familiar to you, and if that's not healthy for you, considering how you can, get your own therapy around how to work through that. Another thing that often comes up is the Four of Pentacles, which is a card of feeling like you're doing everything and they're not doing anything. Now let's go back to that Six of Pentacles. So the Six of Pentacles is saying to create a healthy pattern of give and take in the beginning. And if that's not accomplished, then we can end up in the Four of Pentacles, where one person feels like they're doing the lion's share of the work, or one person feels like they're doing the lion's share of the income building. So it's important when this happens that you allow the Judgment card of truth to come through. And I feel like, in general, both of the Four of Pentacles and the Judgment has to do with when you're in a relationship, sometimes you can get overwhelmed by the other person's nature and kind of forget who you are. And it's so important that you grasp your own voice, speak your own truth, and own your whole self in your relationship. And if they can't fully accept that, then it may not be right for you. But I am a big fan of if they're willing to try. Again, counseling is a great choice. So making sure also as you're dating that you allow, if the Judgment card's up, that means you need to be speaking your truth and being honest about who you are from the get-go. Because it is wasting time if you're not being your whole honest self while dating someone. So put yourself out there with authenticity and trust that the right person will come if you do that, rather than just the accomplishment of checkmarking any person who, kind of hot. So, lastly, I want to talk about the challenges in relationships. And that is the Tower card. Tower card! Tower card! So, the Tower card is that card of you have a pattern of getting into relationships that end up the same way every time. And it is a card of recognizing what is that pattern, where does it begin, and how do I unravel it from the start? Am I dating my mom over and over again? And so I end up in that same relationship because I default into who I am with my mom? Am I going for sex and trusting the lightning bolt effect at the beginning and wanting that to be long term when really it's just a match that's a fun fling? Am I choosing to give so much in the beginning that I don't ask for my needs, and when I start to, it's a little late and they feel pressured and demanded of rather than enticed? What are your patterns, and how can you honor and accept that relationships are the greatest growth field we have, and actually choose to grow into a new way of being? Some of the other more negative or challenging cards, of course, the Five of Wands, which is about fights and battles, and asking yourself, is this fight worth it? Is this a battle? Do I have to battle on everything, or maybe I can let some things go? Finding more compromise in a healthy relationship, if that card's coming up a lot. And the Seven of Swords, which is that traditional midnight tarot show host saying, oh, he's cheating on you. So here's the problem with that. Seven of Swords could be that you're being betrayed by them, and it can be that you're self-sabotaging by presuming being betrayed. So that's the catch of this card that makes it finicky. So in these moments, if you get the Seven of Swords, I highly recommend that you get a reading from a professional who can really talk to you and see what they can see in it, because it's very hard to read for yourself when you get that card, I feel. I don't even read that card for myself. If I get that card, I'm like, ooh, am I being paranoid or is it real? But Seven of Swords is if you're pulling specifically on, are they cheating on me? I feel like if you pull that card and then you pull a court card of someone they might be attracted to, that might be a yes. But it also is a time to go and get a reading from a professional. Finally, I just want to say, with all these beautiful cards out here, that, you know, the Ten of Cups is the final card I want to finish on. That the Ten of Cups is about letting your heart be full of joy. You can do that with or without a relationship. And the more joy you allow in, the more you become attractive to your family, to your friends, and the more that they can celebrate life with you. And if they themselves don't allow you to be in full joy, then that might be something you need to have a chat about. But the Ten of Cups has a family on it, and it's that idea of just letting yourself be open-hearted to life. And we can do that through all kinds of ways. It doesn't have to just be through relationships. I just want to remind you that you can do your own personal growth of allowing your heart to be more full with or without a relationship. And the relationship can only add to that. And so letting yourself be joyous as you go seek relationships, joyous as you explore your own growth in the ones that you're in, and joyous when you leave the ones that aren't working for you. So try and find that aspect in all parts of your life. So thank you for listening today. I hope that you'll subscribe to my page and join my email list so that you can get more updates on these great Instagram lives I'm doing. I also hope you'll come get a reading from me if you're in a relationship. I do couples readings for all types of relationships. I also offer individual readings of how to work you through a relationship phase of whatever kind you're in, trying to get into one, pulling through one, or exiting. So the cards are an amazing gift and tool, and I hope you'll come and join me for a reading sometime. So thanks for listening, and good luck in love of all kinds. Take care.